Tech Hour with Kevin and Pat. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Patrick. And on this show, we talk about our goings into the techopreneur world and what we have learned and are learning.
Yeah, perfect. So, so how was the week this week?
I'm in that Lyft car a lot, man.
Are you?
That's what I
Yeah.
do. It's the Lyft. It's you try to close some deals, but it's mainly you're in that Lyft car.
Yeah.
Because what you find out is pound for pound, driving Lyft when you don't have business does equate pretty good. Like, it's about, if you're smart about it, you can get it at about 25 bucks an hour and hopefully pay a couple bucks in gas and stuff like that. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I've been doing, a couple deals, but, how about you?
Um, I've been pretty dry this week. Um, I've actually been trying to kind of push the whole cell phone aspect of the business. So like the mobile repair and things like that. Um, I've
Oh,
been kind of
really? Can
going
you
hard on.
help a brother out? Because this happened to me today, too. I don't know if you can see that, but I have a nasty crack on my phone screen. You can
Yeah,
see
yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah.
So what have you
Yeah.
been doing with the phone thing?
Just pushing ads basically at this point. Um, Trying to get it out of the water. I That's why I posted on buy and sell groups. So it's been like Facebook Marketplace and then all the buy and sell groups around here, and it's
Mm.
been working pretty well. It's been I guess fairly steady. Now it's just the process of kind of sourcing the screens and stuff like that, right? So
Where are you going to get those things? Yeah, let's listen. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this because
yeah,
I'd like to. When I was doing cell phone screen repairs, it was 2012 maybe, and I would just Google like I don't know if Newegg is still a thing. Um, I would
yeah,
just Google the model and the screen.
yeah. No, I've been going through a company called Mobile Centrics. Um, they have a U.S. version and a Canadian version.
Sweet,
So
sweet.
they're based out of Virginia and I believe it's Toronto or that area there. But they sell wholesale, so essentially I can get like I don't know an iPhone 7 screen, let's say for just dollars, like
That's good.
so and then I can just upsell those. Um, but yeah, so I've been kind of pushing hard on that aspect of the business and kind of laying back on the whole home automation portion, I guess. So yeah.
Don't you stray away from home automation.
Oh
Cell
no.
phones are just a part of home automation.
See what I'm actually doing. So I don't know if yeah, I think I talked to you about this week actually. So I'm kind of trying to rebrand the whole thing. So I mean, when I started this whole thing, I just wanted to do home automation, but now I want to focus on tech just as a whole. So I'll be doing like cell phone repairs, tablet repairs, console repairs, um, like the home automation. So I'll set up the Google Home, set up TVs, it's like just the whole tech thing. You know?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, you're broadening your horizons
Yeah,
is definitely one way to go. Like,
yeah.
you know, how profitable? I mean, how fast can you fix a phone screen? Like, are you about 2 hours or about an hour and a half in or something like that?
Well, I mean, it's dependent on the model, right? So let's say I do an S20, for example. Well, they make
Hmm.
things a lot different than they make the S8s or S7s or whatnot. So it's gonna take me longer to do a phone like that than to do an S7. So
Okay.
yeah. So I'd say probably for the older generation phones are probably like a half an hour to an hour.
Yeah, when they have that like the especially the cheaper brands where they have the
Yeah.
uh basically it's like a plastic encasing
Yeah.
and the screen is not I think the word is doesn't have a waterfall effect.
Yeah.
Um those are really easy. It just I remember like doing an iPhone and a Galaxy when they put that daggone they used to put the glue on the screen and it
Oh, yeah.
was just a monster to get off, man. Like
And now
that's a hustle.
the IP ratings now are so much higher now, so they triple the effect of like around the edges, right? Like it's just
Oh
it's just stuck on there. Yeah.
man,
Uh, Yeah.
That'll lead them for them dudes in the mall that do that stuff. But you
Yeah.
know, okay. So let me ask you this: how are you setting up your delivery? Like, are you lugging that big old van, and you're gonna fold the seats flat and just kind of rock out with like a battery operated little mobile kit inside the van and just be fucking around in there?
No, I'm doing it from home actually. So I'm doing
Okay.
right now. It's gonna be home based. I was thinking to do like a mobile version of it, but
Mm.
it's just not. I think it'd just be too much of a pain in the ass personally.
In that van, yeah, you're gonna be freaking, you're gonna have a freaking hunchback in that daggone van.
Not only that, I got a car seat behind me, and I got like ladders
Oh
back there
no.
and stuff. Right, like, I think it's really worth it. So
Now, see, that's one of the things that I was having with, especially being on my own and being, a techpreneur and like, I just like that word. Anyway, I'm
yeah,
sorry, but like, one of the things that I had with being on my own and like, just trying to different stuff is, especially with my van, you know, you still have to
yeah,
make money,
yeah, yeah.
and the problem with our vans is that they're good at everything, but they're not great at anything.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, you can do Uber in a van and you'll get about 20, 25 miles to the gallon and you'll make some money there. That's cool. And you can carry a ladder
Yeah,
and your stuff, but you can't do both at the same time.
yeah.
And
Right.
that becomes a problem. You can't be sitting there, rolling up to somebody's Uber XL with a ladder rack on your van, and I got about 4 or 5 boxes of just equipment and stuff like that. So, solution that I did for that is I think I talked about this before. I just went and bought a Prius. Why not?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Buy a Prius. Fuck it. I I literally just decided I wanted to show it to you, but my Bluetooth keyboard just keeps cutting off. Anyway, but like, yeah, but simply bought a Prius, and the gas mileage is great. I put a couple of cameras in the back. I'm selling the cameras like a hustler. It's
All right.
really a cool thing. Like, I got a lot of inventory because my inventory basically comes from my fuck up, so I got a lot of
Yeah,
inventory. But um, that is an interesting pivot
yeah.
on your thing. I really like that, man. Like, cause
Well,
I go ahead.
I mean, like I guess the essential overall goal here is to kind of. So I'm going from KPS Home Automation to KPS Tech, right? So it's going to be like when people see KPS Tech, they're going to think I do everything tech, and that's exactly what I'm going for, right? So if someone says, "Hey, come set up my printer," or "Hey, my computer's not working," something like that, right? Like it's
Yeah,
uh,
printer ain't got nothing to do with home automation.
exactly. I got a broad like selection of what I can do. So
I mean, that's cool. Like, I think I think tech is more encompassing.
yeah,
Um, but it's one of those things. It's like, how many things are you going to put on the moniker? Like, I just thought about that. Like,
yeah,
putting printer repair in there, like you can go into, technically tech is, you know, setting up people's mesh routers. I mean,
yeah,
you can call that a part of home automation, but
yeah.
and, but let me ask you about this. How is your interest in home automation? Because I sometimes I feel mine waning because I see what it is. It's just a bunch of extensions of a computer and a
Yeah.
bunch of components that, if any 45-year-old dad, you know,
Yeah,
actually stops and reads the directions,
exactly.
he'll be able to do what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I think where our skill comes in is, you have to come to these people like when they're in the midst of a headache, and that's a strange place to be because a lot of guys get real, they beat on their chest when something gets, hard, so they start to double down. So it's yeah, I think it's a really good idea to, like, we can bridge that gap in there and like try to attack that pain point,
Yeah,
but at that point we're already dealing with some frustrated people. So maybe moving towards a tech sort of like, a general tech sort of thing, you know, I'd like to
Yeah.
see where you go with that.
Well, I mean, like, see, like, what my plan is here, like, what I essentially want to do is I want to open up like a storefront, right? So I'll
A
sell,
storefront.
yeah. So I'll sell like the cameras, I'll sell like Google Homes, the all that sort of thing, and essentially I'll offer like an installation service along the way.
Hmm.
So let's say that you come up to me and you buy a security camera, I can be like, well, for an extra $50, I can go and set that up for you, or I can have a tech go set it up for you, or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, that's the magic. I thought about that too. Like that's the magic of thinking big. Like I wanted to like because that would be a cool setup. Like if I had uh maybe like even if I started with like a trailer or a small house on like I don't know in America we have these state routes and usually on state routes you have like these used car dealership lots and stuff like that. I would love to get like a trailer
Yeah,
on like a used car dealership lot. You know, they even got to be like a lot of spots. You know, maybe like 10 spots or whatever, strip mall type shit.
yeah,
And you know, you have your place where you can tinker but at that point, you're going to be a big boy. You're going to start hiring like you got to hire people and shit like that. Like that's a whole boy. We could talk about that. Like that's a whole other thing. Like
no, yeah, yeah,
because so you now do you want to focus? Do you want to be a technician, uh, or do you want to like, or do you want to run the business end of it? Like, are you cool with basically going to people's houses, like hand to mouth type
yeah,
shit. Uh, you got your cell phone repair business. You got to lug that daggone van,
yeah.
whatever gas mileage, or uh, would you want to focus more on maybe training like a guy to go do that stuff for you and taking a cut of his thing so you can focus on uh, directly growing the business.
See, like I have a weird outlook on this. So it's like, I mean, I'm gonna sound completely Gary V like here, but I wanna, I like getting down and dirty and doing the work, but I also
Hmm.
like to see other people being happy doing what they do too. So like, I want to train somebody to know what I'm doing, so that way they can train someone else to know, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm the same
yeah,
way. I like you, man. I like you. Like that's me. Like I I'm a
yeah,
tinkerer. Like right now, like actually I'm just looking now, like above my head right there. I just put a Google Home inside a recessed light. I used one of those screw-in light bulb dongly
I've
things,
seen the,
and it's a nice way to get it out of the
yeah,
way. And that's what I really want to do. I tell my wife this all the time. Like ultimately, what I want to do is sit in the corner with my stuff and
yeah,
tinker. You know, and like I don't get me wrong, I love hand to mouth and I love going to people's houses and stuff like that and setting up their
yeah,
stuff, but you talk Gary V, I talk Grant Cardone, um and I listen to Grant Cardone and all he says is like, I want $100,000.
yeah,
I want $100,000 and I'll grow the business more. So what do you have to do to get $100,000? You got to get what is it, 100 people to give you $1,000 or something like
yeah,
that, or 1,000 people to give you a hundred
yeah,
dollars. Well, you know what? There are 365 days in a year, and I can probably install a camera in people's houses 5 days a week. 3 cameras a day, so I can get that done in about a year, year and a
yeah.
half. So that's what I was literally thinking about doing. Just sort of hand to mouth bootstrapping it until I can systematize the business. That's one of my hardest things because the particulars will kill
Yeah.
um, somebody that you would hire that's not as interested in it as it than you. And so I want to do that right now, um, until I can just make it easier to hire like some kid or something like that, but then you got to worry about them effing up your car or
See,
whatever, all that craziness.
see, like the way. I'm thinking like, I mean, it's in a way like I think about it sometimes, and it sounds like, hey, I'm just here to waste money. But on the other hand, it's like, well, like I said, I listen to way too much Gary Vee. Um, what I'm like, let's say you go to a typical interview, right? Let's say you're going to be like an IT guy, for example. Well, they go there, they ask
Hmm.
you, do you have your A plus? Do you have this? Do you have that? You say no, they say, okay, next guy, and they just go down the list, basically, right? But what I want
Hmm.
to do is do an interview. Like, okay, what are you good at? You're good at selling? Okay, you're my salesman. Like, I'm not hiring for a specific position. I'll hire for what they're
Interesting.
good at, right? Because obviously, if they're at an interview, they're looking for a job. So that's
Right.
me helping out and them doing their what they're good at, right? So you use their talents for yourself, essentially.
You know, my boss used to say that to me. That's an interesting
Yeah,
point. My ex-boss, my ex-mentor used to say that to me. Like when he hired me, to work on these giant $1 million
yeah,
machines. I'm a 24-year-old kid. I don't know nothing about
yeah,
nothing. And I was like, why would you hire me? The imposter syndrome was huge for me. Um, and then I was like, well, why exactly did you hire me? He said, you have
yeah,
heart. That's why you have heart. You don't give up. And I never got that, until recently. Like I wanted the person that I would hire because I had a whole list. I was going to read you off my list to the thing. I think I showed it to you
yeah.
on the on
I think so.
Messenger, and it was a little too um, bossy and a little too
Yeah,
scrutinizing.
yeah,
So, like for instance, I can't remember, but if I can just freestyle it off my head, like I had this. I was like, I need to hire someone to be considered. You'll need to understand Bluetooth, Zigbee, Z-Wave, IPv6, IoT, Thread, and chip protocols and ranges. You have to have advanced solving skills. These things are like, first of all, the people that have these things make six figures for real,
yeah,
for real. Like, and I'm going to tell him to parade around and install Wise cameras for $200 a pop. He's going to be like, what do you got out of here? Like,
yeah,
so it's like, and I still got to pay for his insurance and Social Security. What the hell am I
yeah,
doing? Like, so it's you're. I talk to business people and they tell me to avoid the P word, the partner word. But the truth is, if we were to hire somebody, we would need that person would have to be as passionate as us uh, uh, about what we do,
yeah,
um, and is steadfast. So that's a whole thing, like because I mean that gets deep, boy. That gets
yeah,
deep. Anyway,
yeah. Like,
so I don't want to put you on the
yep,
spot. But I've been wanting to know about this because we've been running around. All we do every week is basically me and him. We're running around. We're doing our own thing, closing deals and like whatever we get something of any noteworthiness. I did this, and that's it. So my man is working for the government here. Should I have put that out there or no?
maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know, to be honest with you, but I was going to announce it anyways. But yeah, so I'm so we have a friend. They work but an hour away, like the big city I was talking about there. An hour away.
Mm-hmm.
So they work for a few different group homes and whatnot, and yeah,
Group
so
homes.
essentially like I guess underprivileged youth or I guess things like that, foster kids and
Mm-hmm.
and anyways, long story short, so I guess they have somewhat of an issue for breaking devices, and they keep on
What an
yeah they keep on
animal.
bringing devices back and forth to repair shops, and they're charging crazy amounts. So I told them that I would give them a fair deal for like a fair amount of business, essentially, right? So the more money I make, the better deal I give them, essentially. And yeah, I came to an agreement, so I got the contract, and yeah,
So let's go ahead and extract that
Yeah.
lesson there. You know, every freaking rich person, any Kevin O'Leary always says your network is your
Yeah.
net worth. It's not what you know,
Yeah.
it's who you know. And there it is. The first word out of your sentence, I mean, was I
Yeah.
know a guy.
Yeah.
I knew a guy that does a guy that does a guy and whatever, whatever. And
Yeah.
listen, dude, I mean, if you can, finagle it, I don't know what you got to do to finagle it, but you work it until you don't want to
Yeah.
work it no more. You know, I mean, it really is a big thing. Like, those things like community centers and like, the gym I
Yeah.
told you about, those are magnets, and they have the potential to literally skyrocket your
Yeah.
career from like the dozens or hundreds of people that to the to thousands of
Exactly.
people. You're in these people's faces. You're helping them out with other things, whatever, whatever. It's pretty
Yeah.
sweet, dude. You know, that's a definite big up, man. That's what's up for
Yeah.
real.
Like, I mean, it's the funny thing is too. Like I mentioned to you, it was just a morning. I woke up and I had a message saying, "Hey, do you want to repair devices?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, why not?" Like it wasn't much effort on my part. So it's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing? Like, okay, so you're coming, you got like a tote full of, tablets or Chromebooks or whatever, and you just, how, I mean, and people tell you like, how easy is it really to fix a laptop screen? It's literally plastic snaps, and it's nothing, man. Like
Yeah.
that's what's up. That's like you can get a screen done in about a half hour,
Yeah.
45 minutes, like
Yeah.
for real, for real.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and like I said, like I've always kind of went off a quote. I don't know if you've heard. Like, I may have said it in the past though, but Gary says something like hoping and dreaming doesn't result in anything, or I believe something like that. And it's like I'm gonna find it here, but I had it on my wall upstairs, and that's kind of what I go off of, right? But it's
I love it.
like I've been pushing, I've been telling everybody I know that I'm doing cell phones now. So instead of just kind of sitting back and letting people figure it out, so to speak, and seeing the end of it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean it's proven to work apparently. So
Well, it's funny you mentioned that too, because that's how I am with the cameras. Every time I
yeah,
tinker with something, and I was, I have a mastermind that I do it. My good friends. I think I talked about it on the show before, but we hit an epiphany a couple of days ago. I was sitting there saying like, every time I do an advertisement, I usually get
yeah,
a job. And and then like my buddy Chris, he's a very stoic guy.
uh,
I'm sorry I talk about him, very stoic, but he gives me this look. I was like, yeah, every time I do advertisements, I usually get a hit. I get some kind of job of some sort. He just looks at me like
yeah,
I'm like, I'm like, oh, okay, I got to do some more
yeah.
advertisements. I guess you got to talk about what you do. Like
I just
that's what's up. Like
want to show you
yeah,
this. So I don't know if you can see my screen here. Give me a sec. I'm gonna share. Can you see that? No,
I can't.
don't know what's going on there. Okay, I'm gonna stop this one here. Share.
I do see a share screen feature here.
Yeah, I don't think it's working. Anyways, um,
We are we are we are podcasting nomads. We're right now on Riverside.fm, so we have a free hour. So if anybody knows, if you guys are watching this show, if you anybody knows of a good, stable, free platform that for us to like kind
yeah,
of work off of, hey,
yeah. So
hey, let's see. Hoping and dreaming will
yeah,
result in nothing. Exec, uh, Executing against your skills is the road to success.
yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
And I
Isn't that
mean,
the truth?
speaking of what you were just saying there, like we were talking last week on the podcast, saying that our week was pretty much going to shit, and then like nothing was happening, right? And I feel like this one right here kind of relates to that too.
There's nothing more fun than losing 30-10 in the fourth quarter, and ain't that the
Right?
fucking truth? And then winning. That
Like
is
I just
the
feel
truth. I mean, well, that's what it is. I remember I was looking at this. They have those little
Yeah,
Instagram story memes because that's what you do. And that's another thing that I have. We should talk about, like, as an entrepreneur,
yeah,
change your
yeah,
content. One thing that you should not be doing as an entrepreneur is uh, consuming any bit of media that isn't part of what you do. And I know this a little controversial. Like, I mean, no Netflix. I don't. There's no Netflix, no video games. The only reason why I scroll through Facebook and Instagram
yeah,
is I'm looking for work. It's one of those type of things. And so what you do is eventually you begin to like different things on Instagram. And so they have a lot of these. The hustle culture is huge on Instagram. And it's a long story short. It leads into this. I remember looking at this one meme, and it was like, what a paid salary person is, and if you can see, it was literally like a basic, you know, thing where I don't know if you can see that, but it just is like a little tiny graph over
yeah,
time and stuff like that. But it was talking about what an entrepreneur is, and it's basically
yeah,
like this, for the same thing. Like, so it's like the graph is slow, then over time, then you just a bunch of little bumps and maybe some F ups and down here and everything like that. But eventually it just shoots up. And that's what I'm looking to do. Like, I want to do this business because the problem, here's another thing I want to talk about real
yeah,
quick. I mean, to segue so much. I think that the smart home business, we talked about, like, switching gears
yeah,
over to cell phone repair. And I wanted to speak to that because the smart home business moves
oh, yeah,
too fast to
yeah,
to pinpoint a business in that. I might be wrong with this. I might be wrong with this, but I mean, this is a good segue into what we're about to talk about. But, like, a year ago when I was doing this, the Samsung SmartThings architecture was the newest and hottest thing, and it was great. Now Samsung basically discontinued the product. I mean, they didn't discontinue it, according to Brian Reed
yeah,
from Automate Your Life. They outsourced the software to some other third party company, some Tuya
yeah,
branded company or whatever. And you know, that, dude, that was going to be my bread and butter. I learned the Samsung SmartThings
yeah.
architecture inside and out. And you mean to tell me in a couple of years it's going to be null and void? And it's just, I mean, and that's just maddening. Like, I mean, not maddening, but like maddening, like a
Yeah.
piss off, but maddening, like, holy crap, I can't keep up. You got robot vacuums with
I
cameras in them
I
now.
wanted to get into
You
that
know,
too, actually. So I'll let you finish there, and I kind of want to touch on CES while we get a chance.
no, oh yeah, yeah, CES, but that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I see. I see CES, but that's the thing. Like, well, pretty soon the damn thing's gonna
yeah,
walk. Whatever. It's gonna be like a straight up iRobot
yeah.
type of thing. But anyway, yeah, let's talk about CES. That is because that was some
Yeah.
cool stuff I saw there, man.
So there's one thing that kind of caught my attention was that I don't know if you remember the name of it. It was like a handy vac or handy. It was the Samsung. It was a robot, the one that cleans and does your dishes and stuff. And
Oh, the one where it looked like a sort of an arm attached to, like, I don't know if you guys have this up in New Minas, but at the giant stores we have like a giant
yeah,
vacuum
kind
bot
of,
thing, and it's like I mean, it looks like a woman's pleasure toy, and it
yeah,
basically sweeps the floor, and then that's what this arm was. It was like that, but it had a single arm that can just sort of do things. It was
yeah.
pretty
This is like
sweet. Like, I
from what
I
I
really
read. Like I
enjoyed
read
that.
some articles on this thing. I think it was called the Bot Handy. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Bot
This
handy.
thing's like your own personal butler,
Hmm.
basically. So it'll do everything from doing your dishes. You can even pour you a glass of wine, like things like that. Like it's wild. Yeah,
Some
yeah,
next level shit.
yeah,
That's some next level shit. What else did what else did you like there at that what you call it? Because there's a lot of stuff that go over in that thing. Like, some of those
yeah,
crazy TVs, you were
yeah.
talking
No,
about
they
last
have
week.
uh, I think it was there was the rollable LG phones that kind of caught my attention just because of the whole cell phone repair thing. Um,
The one that looked like the kind of hear ye
yeah,
scroll thingy, like, and it
yeah,
was
yeah. You can just
transparent or
roll it
something
right
like
up. Yeah,
that.
it was. Like I knew it was coming because they've been talking about it for a while, but yeah, it's it's a lot cooler than what I expected. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, like,
yeah,
with the integration. I tell you what I want to see there. Like, I like the vacuum. I really like the vacuum, and I
yeah,
really like that handy bot. But what I want to see um, is I want to see some sort of apparatus for glasses. Last year the big thing was the
yeah.
Alexa frames, the Echo frames and stuff like that. I got these Bose frames for like about $70 at a discount
Yeah.
because the Bose store was closing, and I love them because I can trigger any of my wake words. Google, Miss A, Bixby, Siri, all five of them. Um, and but what I really would like was like is like a
Yeah.
maybe like a small projector in the periphery. Google glasses, they had it back in 2012 or something like that, but I wanted to see it to be more comprehensive because the technology to do it is there. You can control different things with your mind if you have like certain electrode
Yeah.
receptors, on your head. So imagine if you just, you see your notification pop up and you just
Yeah.
maybe roll your eyes and it goes away, or you blink
Yeah.
at it and you can just kind of open it up. I want to see something like that because those technologies are
Exactly.
there. They're just not together yet. And I'm gonna go dig for that, man. I'm gonna dig for that because and this is what you have to be
Yeah.
like. This is what techpreneur is. If you're not getting a hard on for virtual glasses that you can use in everyday world, then you're not part of
Yeah.
this industry.
It's like something like I'm obviously not in a position to afford any type of expensive vehicles or anything, but they came out with I don't know if you've seen this, the Cadillac Air Taxi.
Dude, you know what? Brian was talking about it. I didn't catch. All I caught was like they had, and this might have been from Mercedes, but they had like
Yeah.
this infinity display with whatever, whatever, and it's a bunch of
Oh,
screens. But what is this air
yeah, I'm
taxi?
gonna
Is it
show you
something
here.
like the
Just like
Tesla taxis?
there, this thing.
Cadillac Air Taxi. Let's have a look at that.
Pretty wild looking.
What in the fuck
I mean,
is
this is
that?
some next level stuff. Like it's just, you know, yeah,
What
yeah,
in the
yeah.
hell? What is it
It's like
like?
a
Is it
drone,
like a
basically,
drone
I'd
with a
say. I
chair?
mean, I haven't seen like the whole. That's the only view they showed of it. But yeah, it's pretty some next level shit. It's definitely
Well, Japan has been working for years on like a personal
yeah,
mobile transportation. Uh, the thing comes to me. I think it's like the Sony chair. It was about 10 years ago, and it was literally like a chair that kind of leaned back and rolled at 15 miles an hour or something like that. I mean,
oh
this
yeah,
is the
yeah,
future. Like I and what I see, pardon my negative outlook, but what I see with all this future tech is nice,
exactly.
juicy future problems that equate to future dollars, whatever dollars are, if it's Bitcoin or
See,
freaking yen, whatever is the
yeah,
the
see
the,
the
the
thing. Like
backed
I'm thinking,
currency,
like it's the same thing as like the Tesla Cybertruck and things like that. So
Sorry, I don't know how to help with that. Here are other things you
I'm
can try.
I'm sorry, my
home
Google was
automation.
being weird. Sorry
Um,
about that.
but yeah,
Home
I mean, it's the same thing
automation.
as like the Cybertruck and like things like that. Like they're going from essentially having mechanics to having like airplane technicians, right? Like it's not, it's
Ex-
yeah, like
Beautiful.
it's the
Beautifully said,
future, but
yeah.
you're still gonna have those guys fixing that stuff. Like it's just a whole new skill set that they just
exact because it's. I mean, honestly, like, well, that because they try to say like, especially I like the fact that you brought up the Cybertruck because electric cars technically only have like 12 moving parts, whereas like an internal
Yeah,
combustion
yeah.
car has 2,000. And what they try to say is that, well, you really won't need technicians because the car won't break
Well,
down as much. The hell
like
it
that,
won't.
from what I heard
The
from
hell
this
it
mate,
won't.
they're talking about this whole like, and I mean, it's gonna come to this eventually, but like a whole self-diagnosing thing, like self-repairing thing. But it's not like it's obviously
Yeah,
gonna be flawed in some way, shape, or form. Like it's not gonna be perfect. So if you're broken down on the side of the highway, it's not like you know, it's not gonna be your lifeline. It's not. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm, I mean, that's true. That's true. Like it's you're still gonna have to. I mean, I don't. I think actually, you know what? I think things
Yeah,
like AAA. I don't
CAA.
know if you guys have that in New Minas, like
Yeah,
the AAA and stuff like that. But dude, I tell you what, if you have a car that breaks down and you have a computer that tells you that tells the dispatcher that you're at mile marker
yeah.
4 or wherever, you know,
Well, it's
of course they can do that. But then you need to be the guy that goes out there
like
and
it's like the
takes
OnStar
it
thing. I don't know
there,
if you have OnStar in your van or not, but it's, no.
Mm.
So it's
No, I
basically
don't
like the
have the
same thing. You
OnStar.
push a
No, no.
button, it either calls emergency services. They can tell if you get in a car crash, like that type of thing, right? But it's not. Yeah, there's still
Yeah.
flaws. Like if you're in the middle of, I don't know, say you're in the middle of Kansas somewhere with no reception, it's not gonna help you any, right? Like
Poor Kansas for being the butt of every joke when it comes to being in the middle of
it's like
nowhere.
I don't know. It's just it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me personally.
Yeah. Yeah, same here. Like it'll um you still need your you-ness because I
Yeah,
think that's what's happening with all this technology. It's just an attempt to remove you from your you-ness, from doing the manual things. And I get that, but there has to be some people who have their foot on the ground to keep doing this in the future. And this is why um, a lot of these people talk about
yeah,
moving to the STEM field. Um, and home automation is one of those things that is so ingrained in the
yeah,
STEM field that the and that's why I like to maintain that the only reason why we're not
mhm,
millionaires yet, is because we're not known. I don't doubt your work drive. I know what my work drive is. I know what I do. I know my
yeah,
passion. I know your passion. We are in the right you know field. There's people who play guitar. I don't know what that field is. Like I'm in the technology field because I know I'm going to make a lot
yeah.
of money doing that, and I'm going to be free
Exactly.
to invent more tech.
Well, I mean, it's
That's
essentially the
all I
same
really
thing as
want to
like
do.
I said, like a musician thing. Like let's say you have I don't know, there's a guy that plays guitar, for example, right? Well, he could be better than Slash, but if nobody has actually
Mhm.
ever heard him play or ever seen him do anything, like they won't know of him, right? So essentially getting out there and then knowing what you're
Exactly.
capable of doing.
So pardon my stereotypical Canada reference, but
Yeah,
like honestly, how many Scott
exactly.
Pilgrims are are like out there that are better than
Exactly.
Tom Morello? Like
Yeah, yeah,
it's
no, for
one of
sure.
those
Yeah,
type of things.
but
Like
it's a matter of just getting
mm,
out there, basically, right? And then you go from there. But yeah,
definitely. So all right, well, I guess we can wrap this up.
sure,
So
yeah,
can I
yeah.
ask you a question to wrap this up? What you
Sound
got going
bars.
on next week?
So actually, funny story, actually. Okay, so um, and I mean, if the gentleman's listening to this, I mean, it's just overall just overview of this. But so, and if it cost me a job, it cost me a job. But this gentleman decided to go out and buy 4 sound bars and have me install every single sound bar. to hear the sound differences, the Atmos quality, all that type of thing. So he spent over $7,000 on soundbars, and has these coming from Best Buy. So, um, yeah, yeah. So we're gonna install them. He's gonna pick the one he wants, and we're gonna return the rest.
Can I first of all, first of all, that's amazing, and that's a
Yeah,
crazy story. Like, let's be honest. Like, you just told me a ball just went out and bought like 7 different sound bars in this Dolby Atmos system. If you guys don't know what this is, like, the 5.1, 7.1 channels. He wants him to like install and break down 7 speakers, sync them all up, listen to them. That's a
yeah.
I can't wait to
Oh
find out
well,
how much you charge for that job
see, that's the
because
beauty of it
that is
too. So we've
amazing,
been
dude.
talking about, like, I guess discreetly about pricing and stuff, kind of, you know, I've kind of just poking at a little bit. And from what he's saying, he's willing to pay anything
Hmm.
to get superior service from what he's told me. So, I mean,
I don't know if you can see
yeah,
my mouth.
yeah. So
That's what's going on behind the
I'm
glasses.
gonna do a very good job of this one, kind of, superior. It is, yeah.
That is
It blew me out
heavy.
of the water. I just like
For real.
first
For
my first
real.
actual job
Like
at that.
that
Right?
that is
Yeah, yeah,
that's like
yeah.
that's what we
Yeah.
want. Like
As long as
that.
he can point me in the direction of
Wow.
other people like that, I think I'm going in the right direction. So,
I mean, well, I mean that's what you want to do. Like, like I said, what I maintain to believe, and I hate to say this because I don't want to stereotype myself, because I'm actually going in the opposite direction, and I'll explain in a second. Our target market is people. I'm sorry,
yeah,
boomers and early Gen Xers, them latchkey kids and them boomers, because they need to exist in this technological world for about the 30 or 40,
yeah.
between 25 and 30 years that they exist on the planet. But I mean, the resolution of, the refresh rate of things just coming out is too much for them. They just need people to
Well, I
plug it
mean, like,
in, make it work
the other
nice.
part of the
That's it.
market though is like you said, the Gen X and the Boomers type thing. But I mean, not to be completely
Hmm.
stereotypical or anything, but it's those people with a lot of money, because essentially, like, it's the smart home industry is not for
Follow the
people that
money.
are, low income or whatnot. It's more for like for example, you can buy the Brilliant Smart Switch, which is like the one with like the sliding thing. I think it's like $400 just for the product.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
four
with the
hundred
little
bucks just for that
toggly finger
alone.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
So if someone asks you to install that, it's $400 plus labor
Exactly.
plus, like, you know, it's not cheap. So it's for the
Like, if your car's a Toyota and you're riding on your donut for like more than 2 weeks, then you probably can't afford a smart home. That's just how it is. And I'm sorry,
it,
Zoomers,
I mean,
like, it's
there's
just not gonna
there's a
happen.
consumer
Like,
grade of it too, right?
go
But I
ahead.
mean, like, if you want something that's working good and like everything like that, you're gonna be the guy that's buying the four different sound bars and testing one by one to see which one. Like, that's
I mean,
yeah,
that really isn't entirely.
yeah,
I mean, that's an
yeah,
industry. That's an industry like that. You know, I mean, I would never carry that kind of. I would never carry that kind of
yeah,
inventory. I wouldn't want to sit on that much money. But I mean, I told you about this one guy. He's a chef. He's a
yeah,
chef. He just had a house built in Delaware. Same type of guy. He wants me to hook up basically Adobe Atmos. We you know what we got to do? We got to start sharing some if
yeah,
it's legally allowed. The
yeah,
Adobe Atmos with the Philips Hue sync lighting. He
yeah,
he saw that and
yeah,
he's 100% in love with it. He's in love with it. He wants it, this, that, and the third. But he's not throwing around like 7 soundbar quality money, type thing. But you know, it's there. Like, it's definitely like a thing to do. Like, I would
Yeah.
love to keep that equipment on me and sample it to people. And it's just a vacuum cleaner
See, like,
salesman on a whole other level, essentially. But no, I wanted to talk about this, like,
yeah,
complete opposite thing next week for me. Uh, got a guy, more cameras,
yeah,
because that just seems to be the nomenclature, lower income
yeah,
people, need security. You know, where my passion is sinking the house. I want, like I said, I want the house to know what you're thinking when you're in every
yeah,
position of the house. That's my ultimate passion. But the truth is, a lot of people, just need cameras, and a $25 security camera, you just can't you,
yeah,
you 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 can't beat that, and a lot of people don't know how to do that. So I'm in that weird niche industry, but the problem with that is, you have your job is going to be you're going to come out with like a four figure earning right there. Like, let's just be honest, that's a fucking unicorn. That'll pay your
yeah.
bills for
So,
like a month. Like, that's some good stuff. Meanwhile, like, next week I got a guy I'm going to install. I
I
have
hear you.
Arlo cameras now, and I became a dealer with Arlo. And this is pretty cool, but
Yeah,
nobody can afford a $200 camera. Like, it's too much. This one guy, he wanted to barter his services for my Arlo camera. You know, these are the
yeah,
things that I'm dealing with here. It's one of these things, like, I don't want to say what it is and exactly, all that stuff like that. But, I would love to give him these Arlo cameras, because where he's at, they would
yeah.
benefit him the most by
See,
far. But,
this is me thinking of it like
guys, go ahead.
in the whole entrepreneurial way here, but I mean, if I were you, I'd give them the cameras, right? 'Cause free advertising, free everything. Like, it's the way to go. It's that. I mean, you're losing in the short of it, but yeah,
Got them already
there you
packed
go.
up, man.
Yeah,
Got them already packed up. Every day, baby. I just had these
yeah,
things just lying around, like. But yeah, like, I would, because he's a magnet too. This guy. Well, he owns it. He partially has his own one of those type of CrossFit gyms where it's basically like an empty
okay,
space with a rubber
yeah,
floor and a giant tractor tire type of thing.
yeah,
He has one of those things, so he has a lot of people that he knows.
yeah,
So that's exactly
yeah.
100% what I was
No,
going to do for him.
yeah. No, I'm just back to the
But we'll
whole
see.
the whole passion thing. Like, I'm loving every minute of this whole soundbar thing. 'Cause like why I love home theater. Like, anything home theater.
I
Like,
would be too.
that's my thing. So, like, my goal into if someone asks me for home audio is to go in there and essentially give them the biggest sound with the biggest subwoofer I possibly can, and have it just be a home theater. Like, it's just, yeah,
Yep.
that's what I aim for. So, I mean, just loving it.
Yep. That's passion when and
Exactly.
when and when money is not involved. Like my parents, my wife's parents, they just bought a big nice house, and they want me to automate their house. And I'm focused on price because that's my head. I got to stop that. And he goes, no, no, I want
Yeah.
my house to be like yours. You know, well, my guy, I got about $9,000 worth of equipment in my house right now. Like, so you sure? Yeah. Okay. And you get happy because you get to set up
Yeah.
the smart things
For
architecture
sure.
all over again. I get it,
Hmm.
man. I definitely get it. That's our goal. We need to find, and it's not about following the money and, stereotyping generations and whatnot and what have you. We need, I think we need to find
Yeah.
exactly what our passion is. For me, it's not cameras. For you, it's not cell phone repair. For me, it's smart home architecture, and for you, it's sound
Yeah.
bars and fully integrating that shit in a thing. So long story short is, I think we need to follow our passion, because our passion is where the money is on a much larger level, and not these granular Ubers or laptop repairs or cell phone repairs. These things are granular. You know, you're asking people to repair. People, first of all, rich people don't repair cell phones. Rich people buy new cell phones because it's
thing
a
is,
thing.
though,
It's
I don't know if it's
$1,000 to
different
them. They don't care.
in
You know.
like where you are, but here's the exact opposite of that. The rich
Mm.
people are actually, I guess, for lack of better terms, cheaper than the other people, and they actually will get their $1,000 phone fixed, or even, for that matter, even their iPhone SE fixed. Right? Yeah. So it's like I've
Really?
had a lady here a couple of weeks ago. She had like a pearl necklace and everything, and she had an iPhone 7, and she wanted to get it fixed. Driving like this like Mercedes or whatnot, and I'm just like,
Well, because then you know what you know. You know that's the thing. Like I get. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about that now, man, I might be wrong in that because excuse me, because you do know what you know. Like
yeah,
I hate having to change cell phones because it
yeah.
takes me about a year to understand my cell phone.
But I mean, it's the same thing as
So
if like the same thing that like
yeah, it makes sense.
I guess Grant says and Gary Vee says and all these people, like, you're not just gonna go spend money on luxuries and expect to be rich, right? So you're not gonna go buy, yeah, like go buy
Right,
that.
right. That's the rule. Well, see, I looked at it like it's a tool thing. Like people, like those type of people, like they. I'm not going to say they just go buy the next thing because they go buy the next thing, but the way I thought it was is that
Yeah,
those people didn't have the time to invest, and something like finding a guy that could repair the cell phone, and going to them and not having their phone for 2 hours and whatnot. I thought that they would just go, look, I need a new one here, but apparently iPhone 7. That's
probably, yeah,
what's that
250,
phone worth now?
yeah.
Like $200? Like
But see, I'm gonna try to get I'm
well,
gonna try to get into selling them as well. So
and they
having like, use cell phones, fixing up the screen, selling them again, like kind of flipping them, so to speak. So that way, if someone doesn't want to wait for their phone, they would just want to buy a new one. Well, I can just be like, here, $300 phone. Like,
I would love to see this
this is
storefront
this
that you come up
this is
with.
the
I'm
storefront
really
for now.
interested in
So
this storefront. Wow. Hey, baby, what we talking
yeah,
about right here? I got my printer. Hey, what we doing?
yeah, exactly.
This is my project. This is my
Yeah, hey,
everything. Like,
to wrap this up, we're getting on 50 minutes now. So
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So we can wrap it
anyway,
up. Go
so this
ahead. Go
is
ahead.
episode number. Is it episode number 4? Five. We're on episode number 5 of
Four
the
or
Tech Authorities
five?
having a chat.
Five.
I just
Five.
want to thank you guys for listening. So, KPS, I'm going to go with KPS Tech for now because I'm going to be changing this. So, KPS Tech on Facebook and Instagram. And we got Houston's Home Automation on Facebook, Instagram. Is that right? Oh, yeah.
Oh, and LinkedIn. I'm on
I
LinkedIn now because people with
I
jobs
put it
have
up myself on
LinkedIn. So
LinkedIn
I'm
yet,
on
so
advertising on
Kevin
LinkedIn.
LeBlanc on LinkedIn. But yeah, I'm on there now too. So, yeah.
Hey, hey, diversify, diversify. Well, we need one of those apps that
Yeah.
can tweet, like a tweet deck that can sort of broadcast one thing
Cool, cool.
to everybody. Anyway, we can talk about that when
Perfect.
we're off air. But good.
See you guys.
Thanks for
See you
listening
in the
to us,
next one.
guys. Take care.